Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jackie, and I am forever faithful. Thank you for joining me today. Um, this was on my mind because I'm still dealing with the tail end of this, but it's when I had to trust God when God exposed some family members as foes. And it was quite an awakening for me on many levels. It was quite jarring and drastic and traumatic, and by the end of it, I had a form of PTSD. So in the end, God shared with me that He knew that I would not just disconnect from my family on my own. And it's true. Even through the dysfunction, I still had a very strong connection with my family members, even with the ones that I knew, didn't even care for me. I still loved them anyway. But yeah, trusting God when family is exposed as your foes, and every family is dysfunctional. That's the thing. Every family is dysfunctional. And the dysfunction appears in different ways, You have abuse. There's mental abuse, using words to harm someone. You have emotional abuse. Also, emotional manipulation, but it's abuse. When someone can use your emotions, try to manipulate your emotions in their favor, when that could be anything. And you have neglect, right? I mentioned manipulation. And there's guilt, lies, and then there's, the silent treatment, right? When there's just silence. All of those are just forms of, manipulation. Dysfunction. And so what I've learned through this process, and of course, I'm still in process, work in progress through this process, is that through all of it, it happened in a way when God started to reveal the true foes in my family was quite shocking. It really was. And I was like, all I had was good intentions. I only wanted the best for everybody. But somehow, lies being told, gossip, dragging my name through the mud, my reputation, just not telling the truth, telling half-truths or giving part of the truth, right? Telling half of a lie, not telling the whole lie. Like there's two sides of a coin. If you're going to tell it all. Tell it what you did and how I responded, right? So, but it was a very eye-opening thing. But most importantly, what I learned from this is everything starts in the spirit. Everything starts in the spirit. And that this was bigger than me, right? Everything that took place was bigger than me. Now, what I can say is that usually there's always signs. There's always signs, confirmations, something. A way that God is communicating with you to kind of let you know about a person or a situation, right? But we're talking about family, so kind of like there's signs along the way with being family. These are people that you grew up with. So it's kind of like, somebody could say something like something good happened to you, for you, and they'll make a snide comment, and it makes you feel a certain type of way. It was like, everybody else congratulated me, but they said this. Pay attention to that, because you could have an undercut of a hater, right? A low-key hater. And that's a foe. And you don't even know that it's a foe. Pay attention. Because it's really not the person, it's the spirit behind the person. It's truly the spirit behind the person, because this is a spiritual thing, right? It's a spiritual war. So, seeing the spirit behind the person for what it is, and I think a lot of times, I think I may have mentioned this before, that we get caught up on the labels. That this is my parent, this is my sibling, this is my grandparents, right? This is my husband, my wife, my best friend since grade school. Like, we get caught up on these freaking labels, but we're not truly noticing the spirit behind the person. And oftentimes we've grown up in this, and we have come accustomed to these dysfunctions, even though it doesn't feel good. Even though it doesn't feel right, like something's off. Yeah, there's something off. Change needs to happen. And pay attention to these spirits. Because believe me, they will continue to reveal themselves. They will throw salt in your game. They'll try to keep you down. I've seen that before. Somebody's trying to go to college, trying to go to school to better themselves, and someone else is actually trying to talk them out of it. What are you going to do that for? Da, da, da. What? So she can stay home with you? That's not right. I think the people that are surrounded around us should be people that are kind and loving and loyal and respectful and honest. And if you don't have that in your life, then you need some new people. As simple as that. And I'm not saying by far this is an easy task. I'm just kind of like giving you heads up, some pointers, some tips or whatever through my own experience. But God was always showing me along the way, whether if it was, my sister, making a face when I brought home a good grades after a semester, or someone else stealing, right? Stealing from me, stealing monies, clothes, Social Security number, boyfriend, like still just stealing, a little thief. Like, pay attention to this. To the spirit behind the person, because believe me, you don't want to take the scenic route like I did. It's like, start to distance yourself from these people. And I'm not saying, like I said before, no, it's not easy. It was extremely hard for me to distance myself from my mother. Really, it was. I think I angst over that for so long and cried over that for, I don't know, months. It could have been a freaking year. I don't know. But because it was really hard for me to do that. But I had to get myself together, emotionally and physically. I had to tend to myself, because during this whole battle, me battling, I truly felt like I was in the center of a circle, and I had 9 enemies surrounding me. So I was at battle. I felt constantly, and for at least 2-3 years. And I distanced myself because I was an injured soldier. I was an injured soldier, And I needed to rest. And that's when God started to reveal things to me and began to provide for me, because by this time I was really all alone, physically all alone, because by that time of me choosing myself, because I was on the verge of having a stroke or a heart attack because of all the stress and the drama and the warfare. I just decided to take the time I needed, and God provided all along the way. Like, I had no one. The friends that I call family now, like, of course they live on different sides of the city, and they have families and things like that. So for me, it was like, if I really needed someone physically, there was no one there, because I had ended my relationship. I had ended almost every relationship. I had disconnected from most of my family members, except for maybe 2, 3 at the most. And I was like, okay. And then, in people I thought that were friends, that was, to me during that time, caused me more stress, caused me, to lose more money. To me, they were not of help, but of hindrance to me. I was like, God showed me that too, about these people. And I let them go as well. Literally disconnected them, blocked them. I'm done. Yeah, I know it's been 20 years. I know it's been 30 years, but I'm done. Because for me, I'm like, I'm on a freaking battlefield. I'm all injured up. I'm freaking bleeding shit. Like, I got cuts and bruises. And I'm battered, tattered, and a little bit scattered. So for me, I really needed people to help take care of me. Because I was weak, physically weak, mentally I was tapped out, truly tapped out. And I think for maybe when I made that decision, I think for the first 3 weeks, I was in bed. I went to the grocery store. And I went to get massages, but literally that was it. I was in bed. I was just that tapped out. But don't let anyone get you to that point, is my point of me sharing my experience. And, there's so much more that happened during this experience, but I just wanted to tell you to look at the experience. Look at the spirit. Look at the spirit. And the experiences that you've had with that spirit that's in that person. Now, I have personally also have seen within my own family this evil spirit literally jump inside like a relative. And I've seen the face turn, literally changed. It was no longer auntie. It was a harsh face. It was definitely a harsher face with harsher features. And I've seen it move again to a younger person. And the baby face changed, right? I may have mentioned this before, but the baby face changed. I've seen this happen right before my eyes. So these spirits can actually enter a person that has wounds, emotional wounds, and use that person to attack you in different ways, physically, verbally, financially, seriously, even in spirit. So you have to be careful with the people that you surround yourself with, especially during these times. And right now, I even had friends that I truly thought that would never, that would be in my life forever. And now I have distanced myself from them as well. So it's kind of like as I keep progressing and growing and obeying the divine path, the divine spirit, I don't want to say losing, but I keep elevating to a point where these people they no longer resonate with my soul anymore. And that's okay. So that means that they were just here for a season. They were here for a reason, not a lifetime. And I've just gotten to the point, I don't even think, I would say most people aren't even here for a lifetime in our lives, even family, because of the dysfunction. When you start cutting out the dysfunction, you'll realize that you'll cut away a lot of people real quick. And a lot of times we make excuses for these bad behaviors, allowing ourselves to be treated less than, and it's not right and it's not fair. We deserve better for ourselves. We should want better for ourselves. And we should do whatever we need to do to uplift ourselves and surround ourselves with people who are going to support us in our dreams in every way and love us unconditionally, period. So, but through all of this, you have to trust the divine spirit when it starts to expose your family as foes. And get rid of the label. Because a lot of times, if you just look at the spirit behind the person, if you wasn't related to them, and you didn't know them like that, like seriously, would you allow this type of treatment? Would you allow the abuse, the neglect, the manipulation, the guilt, the lies, the silent treatment? Would you allow this if you did not have that label as family or parents, a sister, cousin, whatever? Would you? And a lot of times I've asked that question to people and they're like, no, I wouldn't. So why do you continue to allow this into your life? At this point, it is not to scare anybody, but again, this is a spiritual war, and the enemy is trying to take you out. He ain't trying to play. He's trying to take you out, keep you down. So either you're going to be in agreement with that in the spirit behind these people, or you're not, because you're going to have to stand strong, and you're going to probably have to stand alone. But you'll be okay. Because Lord knows I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea. My world was turned upside down. Completely upside down. What I thought I knew, I didn't know. And what was revealed to me over time, it was sobering. It was shocking, then sobering. Like, okay, and then there comes a point of acceptance. I have to do this for me. If I'm wanting the life that I want, I'm going to have to cut some things out. I'm going to have to cut some people out, some habits, dysfunctions, whatever. But I just leave you with the question, how bad do you really want it? How bad do you want your dream life? How bad do you really want it? Because the higher you go, the foes will also flow. So it's kind of like get in the habit of cutting people off, disconnecting from them, distancing yourself from them, protecting yourself from these entities, these spirits that doesn't have your best interest at heart. Remove away the labels, keep trusting the divine creator, and believe him. Believe the divine spirit when it begins to send you signs, confirmation, signals, and it can come in various forms. Okay? Just pay attention to that, because I know before I entered into the gates of my living hell, I was visited in my dream state by an evil spirit, a devil. All I knew, it had horns, it had the evil laugh. It was absolutely a warning. But I had no idea what was to come. I knew something wasn't right. I mentioned it to a family member, but I had no idea even at the time that I was talking to the freaking enemy that answered the phone. So that's how the enemy infiltrated the camp. It actually had me tied to a bed in the hospital for weeks as it began to wreak havoc in my family and infiltrate it. So by the time I got out, literally less than 30 days, I started being attacked, like almost right away. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what the hell is going on? What is going on? What did I do? I haven't even been around. Why am I being attacked? Why are lies being told about me? Right? Why are people gossiping about me? Why are you dragging my name through the mud? Right? It's like, okay, I was warned. The signs were there. Messages was there. Those warning signs were there. So all I'm saying is pay attention. Trust God through it all, because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anybody but God. When I say nothing, nobody, I truly do mean that. I mean, I had my family friends, my family of friends. But again, like I said, like they have their own families and they don't live near me. So it would always have to be through phone or email. And that's fine, but it's not the same as being in person, right? So what this whole process did, it had me to lean and trust. I had to put 100% trust in God. I had no idea what was happening and why it was happening. And especially to me, all I tried to do is help people. All I've ever tried to do is help and be kind and loving, even when people have stabbed me in the back, right? But this is why I was like, it's time. I have to remove you from this because I have to get you ready and prepared for the next phase, for the next season. So I had to heal from all of that. He had to give me clarity, and during this process, it just made me stronger. It made me stronger spiritually. I became stronger energetically, like my energy, my vitality, because I didn't have these succubus sucking me dry on different levels. But most of all, it taught me to rely on the divine creator, God, for everything, all the time. All the time. I don't care if you have a headache or a bellyache. Call on God. I don't care if you got a bill that's $100 or a bill that's $10,000. Call on God. Like whatever it is. So for me, during this whole process, even though I was angry, I was hurt, I was disappointed, shocked. I had so many emotions. I probably went through all the emotions during this time. But I still called on the divine creator. I still trusted that whatever, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm trusting that it's for my good. I ain't happy about it. I'm not happy whatsoever. But I will trust. I will trust you. I have nothing else to do but to trust you, that you know what you're doing. Like, seriously, this is brutal. Why you got me out here on the battlefield alone? And I'm thinking some of the soldiers that are with me are actually part of the enemy's camp. Like, what the heck? But through it all, it got me through. Even when there was no money, it got me through. Even when there was no food, it got me through. Even if it was a person who just happened to be in the same place I was at the time and blessed me, got me through. Even me knowing someone and they say, oh, I know someone who knows someone. You just never know. Somehow it always worked out. Even getting the nudges to even find new people to make an effort uh, guided me to a group of people that really helped me to see things much differently than I had seen them before. And these people was in my life for a season as well. I hadn't seen or talked to them in, I don't know, probably a good 2 years, 3 years now. But I'm grateful and thankful for them. So these people in my life for a season, for a reason. And I'm okay with that. I used to try to hold on to relationships because of the label, because I've known them so long. But it really wasn't as satisfying as it used to be. The conversations, the time we spend together, right? It's just not the same. And that's okay. Because nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. Change is consistent. That's the thing. Things are always changing, right? But anyway, but through it all, just look at the spirit behind the person and trust God, the divine creator, when he's showing you when family are your foes. Okay? All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. That's it for me. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.